Gandalf, people assume being wise means you sleep well. Truth is, I haven't slept properly in 50 years. Every time I close my eyes, I remember something I forgot to fix. The mind refuses to retire, even when the body begs for a holiday.
Sleep's overrated anyway. I've had centuries to practice it, and still find it dull. The last time I tried to rest, I woke up in another body with a different hat. Now I just stay awake and annoy people instead. Works better for everyone.
The hat. I've always admired how you pull off the whole ancient wanderer with good posture thing. If I dressed like that, they'd call me eccentric. When you do it, they call you mystical.
That's because you teach teenagers and I argue with kings. It's all about audience, my friend. Besides, eccentricity is just wisdom that learned to laugh. Without a little madness, we'd be unbearable.
Speaking of unbearable, I had a student once who tried to make himself immortal. Charming boy, terrible aim. You might have heard of him. Pale, noseless, dramatic. Couldn't enter a room without fog.
Oh, I know the type. Sounds like a cousin of Sauron. Always brooding, building towers, talking about destiny. You'd think they'd find a hobby that doesn't involve world domination. Gardening, maybe. Or pottery.
You're right. If Tom had taken up gardening, we'd have fewer funerals. He thought nature was beneath him. I once caught him staring at a flower like it had insulted his bloodline.
Sauron wasn't any better. He hated forests, said trees were untidy. Imagine calling a forest disobedient. The man tried to organize existence like it was a shelf. Power does that, makes you forget the world isn't furniture.
Tom thought control would fix everything. If people followed rules, no one would hurt him again. I suppose that's where fear begins. The moment someone decides trust is too risky.
Sauron had the same disease. He wanted order so badly, he forged it into a ring. You can almost respect the craftsmanship. It's the emotional maturity of a toddler with a hammer, but still fine metalwork.
I often wonder what would happen if they'd met. Voldemort with his speeches, Sauron with his glowing eye. One would monologue, the other would smolder. The world wouldn't end, it would just grow tired of listening.
Oh, it'd be a disaster. They'd spend half the time arguing about who had the better title. Dark Lord of what exactly? It'd be less of a meeting, more of a competition in self-pity.
You ever notice how evil people have terrible branding? Black robes, skulls fire. Not a single cheerful color. If Tom had worn blue once, he might have lived longer.
Sauron was the same. Everything black, everything dramatic. No variety. You can tell a tyrant by how boring their wardrobe is. Real power wears gray. Easier to clean and better for traveling.
You'd have liked teaching him, though. Brilliant mind, sharp memory, charming when he wanted. He could make you believe in him for 5 minutes before you realized you were being studied.
That's what makes them dangerous. Intelligence without compassion is just cruelty with vocabulary. Sauron could make speeches about unity while burning half the world. If charm were virtue, every tyrant would be a saint.
I tried to help him once. Thought education could soften the obsession. Turns out some people study kindness the way others study anatomy. Interesting, but only as an experiment.
I made that mistake with Saruman. He used to talk about light and balance. Then started collecting rings like they were souvenirs. It's always the clever ones who go first. They forget wisdom is the child of humility, not pride.
Sometimes I blame myself for his fall. You can see the storm coming and still fail to stop it. I told myself he'd grow out of it, like arrogance was a face.
You can't teach a wound. Sauron wasn't born wicked. He was broken, then rebuilt without a conscience. You can offer guidance, but some people only hear advice as insult. It's not your fault when they close the door.
Funny, isn't it? They both hated death but ended up chasing it harder than anyone. All that running just to arrive at the same place as the rest of us.
They wanted permanence in a world that runs on endings. I've walked across ages, and still the only thing that lasts is the memory of kindness. You'd think that would be easier to sell than fear, but people are strange.
If you think about it, they were both lonely. That's the thread running through every tyrant, an endless loneliness they never admit to. I sometimes think if someone had hugged them earlier, we'd have saved centuries of trouble.
A hug for Sauron? I'd have paid to see that. Though you're right, a little warmth can stop a war before it starts. Pity that kindness rarely has good PR.
So what's the lesson then? Avoid jewelry and teenage prodigies.
That's a start. But mostly, don't let power choose your friends. And for heaven's sake, don't hire anyone who calls you my lord. It never ends well